everybody and welcome to another Transformers third-party review. In today's video we're taking a look at the eagerly anticipated Unique Toys Challenger, their take on the Age of Extinction and last night Optimus Prime. First impressions, he is absolutely gorgeous. What a remarkably clean, fantastic looking paint scheme. I've just been transforming him to and from. Not quite got everything tabbed in correctly, but that is some gorgeous colouring right there. I'm not sure if this is how this is meant to go on the back here. Much like pre-production samples, we don't get any instructions with this, so it's all kind of guesswork at this stage. But if we just remove this, if we just remove these accessories, let's take a look at what we got. First of all, we get his sword with Cybertronian text all the way down the blade. Looks really clean, lovely paint applications, nice long hilt on there as well. We get his shield, which can be opened, and we have the gun in there. This can be brought back down. That cleans the shield right up. We have a knife blade, which can tab in just above his hands. I can pop that in there. That stores away quite nicely. We get this sword gun. I believe this is the one that Cade uses. Again, does exactly what it needs to, does exactly what it says on the tin. It can be held by human alliance figures. Would be nice if they actually made a Cade to actually hold on to this though, but it's good. It does exactly what it needs to. And then we also get the alternative head sculpt from the last night, the Nemesis Prime. We have a battery compartment at the back here. I'll cover this when we go on bot mode. We can unscrew the screw, fit some batteries in, and we do have light up eyes, and we can also change out these faces. We get the regular face to go with the regular head, and then we get regular face but with that Nemesis Prime red streak. Again, this will be covered when we cover bot mode. Now, taking a close look at the truck detailing, love that silver piping all the way throughout. We've got the cables at the back there, the fifth wheel raises and lowers just like it does in real life. You'd raise this up, this would be nicely greased up, but then you'd reverse on to the trailer, and the trailer hitch would go in and just lock into position, and then you can lower this fifth wheel back down. Got nice rubber tires on here, and a very welcome little bonus, if you can get your fingers behind there, is both doors do open. Now there's nowhere near enough room to get anybody in there, but if we bring in one of our human alliance figures, we've got Crazy Shy there. I mean, that's a really nice scale of him stepping up to get in the cab. I like that a lot. That's a really clever thing to do. I mean, it's completely useless. It's not actually a functioning thing. We can't get them in there, but it really does set this aside from the competition. Now, speaking of the competition, we already have Alien Attack's rendition of the figure. I mean, having those both in hand, they do look remarkably different. Bear in mind, they are both pre-production versions of their mold. Love this really dark blue that Unique Toys went with. Alien Attack went for the chrome look, whereas it would appear that Unique Toys have gone for more of like a brushed steel, which personally I really like the look of. I've got a scratch on there, unfortunately, but we've also got these kind of lights at the front as well. They're not just over sculpted and painted, they're actually physically sculpted in as a separate piece. It all adds to the realism of the vehicle mode. Underside again tidies up pretty nicely. If anything, maybe this section here is a little bit bland. It could do with some form of filler or something in there just to kind of pad that out a bit. But again, we can mount the shield on the back there, and I love this piece here. Just that brushed steel look throughout really does set it aside. Now, of course, we are still waiting on the Black Mamba Toy World version. Black Mamba were going to release it, but there was interest from other companies and they sold the designs on to Toy World. Toy World are starting afresh and giving us a very gorgeous looking Optimus Prime. It could possibly be the best out of the three, but we shall see. But for now, this is all about Challenger, and my goodness, doesn't he look amazing. If we can bring in some other vehicles for comparison, we have him alongside some Masterpiece figures and Alien Attacks Dino. They all look remarkably good. I think it's kind of that realism factor, albeit MP10 is sporting his cartoon style windshield. Scaling wise, it looks fantastic. Now, I'd very much love to show you the UFO trailer attached to this hitch, because I think it would probably fit, but unfortunately mine got broken. It just fell and things fell on top of it and it just snapped. It was a KO of the UFO trailer anyway, so it probably wasn't made of a very durable plastic, but it was a really good trailer for displays, so I will have to invest in another one. But I really would love to have shown you that. But look at the pinstriping on the flames. I know I've already said it, but they've done an amazing job, especially at a pre-production level. Right, but as gorgeous as this alt mode looks, we need to transform him. So let's see if they've continued their mass shifting black magic that they used with their lockdown figure. So first, port of action, you want to just get your fingers under there, and we're going to just pull these front tab pieces apart. They're going to come untabbed. It should automatically come untabbed from these side pieces as well, but sometimes that's a little bit temperamental. You're going to want to bring these all the way back, and there's a tab just on here which tabs in to that wheel section like so. This tab piece folds down to the outside. This rear bumper is going to come up. This piece is going to lift, and this is going to slide down like so. These are going to just split and separate. And these bits come down to the side. They're spring loaded. I want to just bring these all the way down, up and over, so they are going to form the legs. So we were left with it all being underneath the front of the truck. Taking a look at the leg, these are actually pretty straightforward considering. Your first port of action is you want to just pull these wheel pieces away from this top section like so, and that's going to come out. You want to just make sure there is a gap between these two pieces. Bring this all the way up. You can then close those back off again, tabbing those in. And there's a small notch here. This blue piece is just going to push and tab in there. This is going to collapse like so. There's this piece here. Open that up. This rocks inside and then tabs in at 2 points on this outside piece of the leg. This comes down. The foot can rotate around. And as we do, rotate this around. This then comes down and it's going to rotate. And that's going to form the base of the foot. And there's a hole just here and a tab just here. Bring that down, push. And there we go, we have formed the base of the legs. You can now split this crotch tab piece here. If you look on top, there's this tab here. This is going to compress back down on itself. And push and tab in securely into position. This piece can just flip around and then it can slide back down, and now we've got this piece kind of forms the front of the chest. These arm pieces here, these are going to just come down like so. That now allows these door pieces and the front of the windshield to come untabbed, and we can bring those both down to the side of the cab. This roof canopy opens up, and there we see Prime's head just there. These side canopies will come up, and they are going to slide down inside. This should then, oh, clearance is perfect. Around to these arms, you want to split the arms. They're held together at several points. Now before we tab this in, I just need to bring the shoulders around, and I do want to naturally flow round, which is awesome. I just want to bring this tab down slightly. That now allows it to go all the way around, like so. And as we bring it all the way around, this is going to collapse in on itself. This is going to fold up. This comes in, and that's just going to collapse in on itself, so it's nice and tidy. This just then tucks behind. Make sure these are angled down into this void. The arm then collapses off, tabbing in nicely. This comes down to the side of the neck. We're then left with this piece of the arm here. This is then going to fold up and open like so. There's a tab and a tab here. Going to tab those in. You can see where this is going now, can't you? This then comes down. This chest piece then comes up. They fit into the void. This comes down, sealing that off. And then these tab in firmly onto that chest piece, holding everything into position. They're actually on a double hinge, so we can rotate that around like so. Rotate these arms, and the hands are going to come down like so. I want to just fold this arm around so that this is part of the forearm. This is then going to nip together. As we nip it together, it will come down and it will just tab in to form the elbow. This can then rotate at the upper bicep, bring the hands around, and we can just close off those fists. This is going to form the elbow guard. So when the elbows move, this moves in correspondence with them. And there we go. There we have one fully transformed Optimus Prime. And here we have him fully transformed up. And he is a gorgeous rendition of Prime. Love the way the silver and the little metallic highlights in there, even the cables, they all seem to pop. And he's not a static figure either. He is just as articulated as their lockdown figure is, and very, very amazed at how they manage to do that. I'm not overly convinced by those big calf muscles they've got going on there. I know it's to give good range on the knees, but they do appear to be set back slightly. I would have preferred maybe the knees to have been more central, but that is me nitpicking. At the end of the day, this is pretty darn good. They work wonders. They are definitely masters of magic, because Prime looks outstanding. Let's take a look at his articulation. The head can look up that far and down that far. We can go left and we can go right. Unfortunately, we can't tilt quizzically though, but man, that's a really tight fit. The shoulders can come up. Look at that. I love how these raise up in accordance with it. Really good. We've got a butterfly joint which you can bring out to the front as well. We can go all the way up and over. Even the shoulder pads are cut just so they miss everything when we come up and around as well. We have an upper bicep rotation. We have not one but two bends on the elbow, and the elbow pad does in turn kind of come down and clean up that elbow slightly. The wrists can rotate and they can tilt up and down, and we do have articulated fingers, all on a pin there, albeit the trigger finger is separated. Not a fan of the fists. I think that's probably one of the weaker points. I'm kind of used to the fully loaded hands that we get from the likes of Keith's Fantasy Club, where we've got some rotation on that waist. We can also crunch forwards and backwards like so. The legs can shift up and down in that crotch area, which is great for hiding off the crotch. The plates do move forwards, unfortunately all as a single unit. The legs can come this far forwards, this far backwards, they can come out to the side. This here is spring loaded, so it moves itself out of the way. Fantastic, it really is. Those knee cuts that I discussed earlier on, if you can see, we do get a 90-degree bend on that knee on a really nice ratchet, and these do kind of cut in to that thigh. And coming down to the feet, they pivot left and right, and we can move them up and down on the toe. But unfortunately, there is no left and right motion. And nice tight joints means he can hold a pose remarkably well. I mean, just look at him. How imposing is that? What a gorgeous figure. I'm not really sure how these guys are meant to hold it, or even if they are, but there we go. You can put it on his hand, and it does kind of stay on there. Poor old Mr. Witwicky. For a quick scale comparison, here he is alongside some of his fellow Autobots. As you can see, he's actually probably a head or so taller than the MPM Optimus Prime, which in my opinion is okay. I like that. That's nice that he's kind of grown with that extra mass. And here we have him alongside Elcid. I can't get that chest on Elcid to stay in. I say Elcid, well, what's left of him. Things just keep pinging off left, right and centre, which is unfortunate. But yeah, he is a much bigger, heftier bot. How I look at this is the Age of Extinction Prime, pre kind of knight armor, and then we have the fully kitted up Optimus. That being said, the Elcid hands are pretty darn good, but Elcid was a complete nightmare to transform. There's no ifs and buts. He was a terrifying mess, but the overall result was a very good looking figure. Challenger, on the other hand, is very smooth. It's pleasant. It's kind of on par with some of the Masterpiece figures that we're getting these days. Everything holds together remarkably well. Nothing's likely to pop off. Nothing's going to get lost. I've played with him now for a few days. There's no sign of any paint wear, no stress marks on him at all. All in all, he is a very good figure. And here we have him alongside Lockdown and some Steel Jaws. I'm still collecting these Steel Jaws. Some amazing fans out there have sent me these ones. Really love how they look, but he definitely needs more. Oh, I need a whole army of them. Prime is ruddy awesome. I love it. Let's just take a look at that head and see how we change it out. I love the intricate paint detailing and those nice little accents around there. Yes, Elcid had a little bit more in terms of paint applications, but what we've got here definitely works. Now the head, if we tilt that up, we can actually just flick this front piece off and just work that off. There we go. Now the mechanism they used on Elcid was the same as they used on the Masterpiece figure, which was easier, but this isn't exactly complex, so let's just put that down. There we go. That is Prime's serious face. I like how that looks. You've got the little blue behind those eyes there. Now if you want to actually change out the head, which is how I'm personally going to have it displayed, you need to lift this piece up and you just get a screwdriver and unscrew the screw. Now unfortunately, just due to the design, you do have to pull this whole chest section apart just so you can gain access. There we go, let's just remove the head from the peg. Bring in the new head and just slide that into position. That's the face sculpt that I'm going to have on there. Love that Nemesis Prime look. Now, as previously mentioned, there is another section at the back here where we can remove the screw. Pop this piece off, and there is a small section for batteries, but unfortunately I have nothing even remotely that small battery wise. We do have a switch on the antennae there, which is really unfortunate because I wanted to show you the eyes, but it's absolutely tiny. I don't have any batteries even remotely that small. Also absolutely adore the fact that we don't even have to disengage these sections here to get the arms wrapped all the way around. We've got so much play in these arms and so much tilt on the fists that we can bring those right the way around to the front. And while I got it around to the front, let's quickly show off this knife function. It just pegs in to his hand like so. So we have that, so he can try and stab Bumblebee. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Unique Toys Challenger, my favourite Optimus Prime rendition thus far. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the Black Mamba Toy World version comes out like, but for me this at the moment is the definitive version of Prime. Transformation was nice and smooth, everything holds where it should, and it is very much on par with what they did with their Lockdown, although we do get that really nice abdominal crunch chucked in there as well. If you do not already have a Prime, then this is the figure that I recommend at this current time. I will be getting rid of a version of this Prime. I don't need 3. I'd like a vehicle mode and a robot mode, so we'll see which ones are the best. But as it stands at the moment, Unique Toys Challenger is the winner of both of those categories. Hope you found this video useful. If you have, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe. And until next time, for myself and Challenger, thanks for watching. Goodbye.